All right. So, Siggy, I'm just going to say it that way. You can correct me in the comments if you like. That's okay. Um, I'm open to everybody's interpretation of things. So, quiet time. Take some quiet time alone to rest, meditate, and contemplate. What deck would you like me to grab? Okay. Okay, Goddess Siggy, what message would you like to share with the collective at this time, which will assist them in forgiving, letting go of burdens emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and coming to that place of rest within themselves, that quiet time? What message would you like to share with the collective at this time? Okay. I don't know if you want me to take all of these. Hold on a second. That was a lot of cards, Spirit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess we're taking them all. I'll put them back in order then. Oops. Okay. I'm running out of space. Yeah, I'm just going to overlap these. Okay, so the first card that we have is Energetic Shift. And then we have Healing Chakras. And she wants me to take those two as they are together as a message. So we've got Energetic Shift, which is earth energy. And then we've got healing chakras, which I believe is air energy. And so this taking some time to rest, meditate, contemplate, it's about alignment. So you've been finding yourself out of alignment, she says, lately, and maybe slipping back into that. I'm hearing like, how do I put that? I'm hearing that this has to do with the way that your nervous system was programmed. And so you've been finding yourself slipping out of alignment. And this energetic shift is about getting yourself back into alignment, right? So with this healing chakras, this is about not allowing one specific chakra in your system to get out of alignment, to continually um, rebalance the aspects of yourself that may be programmed in a way that is easy for you to slip out of alignment. So there may be one of these chakras, or maybe a few, which in childhood and then through life experiences have programmed your nervous system or your chakras to contain certain frequencies and energies that make you more sensitive to energies, make you more sensitive to changes in your environment, changes in your life, um, ways of feeling about certain things, I heard. And so you have to recognize that this is just a part of how you were programmed. Again, we were talking about aspects of your life that have conditioned you to believe certain things about yourself or about the world around you or the world in general, or about the way that it's going to be, right? Going back to old ways of maybe doubting and thinking that it's always going to be this way, or that you're always going to struggle, or that you're meant to struggle, or um, I'm really getting heavily that this is an energy that is locked up within your chakra system, your nervous system, within your channel. It's stored in the body. And so part of this process of forgiving and loving, and coming to terms and acceptance of what was and what can be is a part of also recognizing how these parts of yourself were created, right, in energy, and how they're being stored in the body. And so I'm seeing this woman moving around. She's like an air vision, right? Like an entity created out of mist or air, it seems like in this depiction for me today. And so she's moving very fluidly and organically and lightly. She's floating off of the ground. She's not, she's in the sky. She's within the clouds. She's moving so fluidly with her energetic system. And so it's time to realize that part of what is going on in your life is just an aspect of things that have been kind of densely stored. Like I see the earth, and that is everything that is like the history of the earth has been stored within it, right? Even the rocks and things that are within the earth all have a history, and I can tell you for a fact, being clairsentient, that I can pick up an object, including a rock or a fossil, and I can see. Um, One of the more recent experiences that I had was seeing a shaman for some energy work, and he had these fossils, and I was really drawn to one. And when I picked it up, I was able to see the Aboriginals. I was able to see that it was in water, first of all, at a river, and Aboriginals running by it and feeling as though that they were being chased because they were looking behind themselves, almost as though they were looking to see how close somebody was to them, and they were running away from them, right? And there was this whole story that came up. And actually, the shaman, after I told him that, um, confirmed all of what I had just said, and that it was a fossil of a certain age and where it was found, and that it was found, or that it had, um, I guess the storyline matched up with the Aboriginals, and that there was a massive tribal war happening in that area at that time. And goosebumps right now. But everything is storing this visceral memory, is my point. And including the rocks, including the earth, including within your own chakra system. All of these chakras need healing. All of these chakras need kind of daily maintenance and your attention, right? So if you don't know about the chakra system, then Google it, and then you can get an idea of when one is out of balance, because your behavior will shift. The way you think about things will shift. The clarity in your mind will shift. You may have digestive issues, right? You might have health issues popping up or pain in your body. Um, that'll tell you which chakra is out of alignment, and that'll really help you along your way. But just understand and be compassionate with yourself along this way, that um, this requires kind of like your daily attention, because your nervous system was programmed to not be in peace, to you were programmed to live possibly in instability, right? And so when you're conditioned to live in chaos and instability, then your nervous system and your chakras will reflect that in the way that you behave in your daily life. And so Siggy is coming through to really ask you to pay attention to your own energy as it displays itself and to make corrections, whether or not you're in a position at that moment to make corrections directly. Um, say you're at work and you can't really change anything about being able to take care of yourself at that moment, you could possibly go to the bathroom for a couple of minutes and do some energy work on yourself or do some deep breathing. You could wait till your break, right? And then assess it and then navigate with whatever is out of balance. But you're being asked to really pay particular attention to your energy at this time because your energy is creating everything around you. And if you've been conditioned, as I said, oh me, if you've been conditioned to be in this state of instability or your hopes being crushed or chaos, then of course your body is going to be more sensitive and receptive to those energies as they come forward and can create imbalance within you a lot easier than other people. So you may have a really sensitive nervous system. You may be really sensitive to emotions or to changes in your environment or to imbalances or negativity, right? And so being aware of your own patterns, being aware of your own um, energy system is going to be very important for you, not only just today, but going forward and keeping it as aligned as possible and helping your your chakra system, your channel, your body, your nervous system to understand that in the quiet is safety. And if your nervous system has been programmed to live in these other states, chaos and disorganization and instability, then that's where it feels safe. And so you have to retrain yourself by going inwards, looking at yourself, doing your reflections, doing shadow work, allowing yourself to feel emotions, meditating, anything like that might, oh, excuse me, might feel unsafe to your nervous system. It might create fear within you, to even want to do that. So you might avoid doing these things. You might avoid going inwards. And this is just something that's coming forward so that you can recognize that this is just the way you were programmed, but you can recondition yourself by allowing yourself to recognize when you are more sensitive or when you maybe haven't had enough sleep or you're a little bit off that day or something about your energy is not as strong as it normally would be. And recognize those moments and recognize what is causing these issues to come up or arise that are changing your own energy. And just understand that you can retrain your nervous system and heal it. You can retrain your mind, your emotions, and your physical body, including your chakras, to believe the opposite, to believe that quiet time and going inwards and being with yourself and doing the healing work is safer than the instability that you grew up in, right? And then we've got solar eclipse, the unseen. And of course, Divine Feminine absolutely had to come out today, and I had a feeling she would because this is a sacred feminine reading, and it is about the divine feminine within each of us, male or female. So, do you want me just to take these two or all of them? So we've got solar eclipse, the divine feminine, and then we've got patterns. My light is a little bit off today. That's okay. And then we've got lovers. Okay. So Siggy, what is the message that you'd like to like me to transfer to the collective today with these cards? Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so going back to what we were talking about this fear earlier, the fear of the unknown. Um, the divine feminine is really coming through here to soothe your soul at this time. Um, Recognizing and digging deep into our divine feminine aspects allows us to trust whatever comes forward without this fear of the unseen, right? So it is about recognizing these patterns within us where we tend to operate in a state of fear because of not knowing what's around the corner, right? That can create a lot of instability within our nervous system. It can dysregulate us, being so scared of and fearful of the unknown. And so the divine feminine is really coming through or wants to come through in your life at this time in order to bring forth this fire of confidence, right? It's not just about being soft and beautiful and fluid and in tune with our emotions and our our intuition. But the other aspect of what's going on right now is that there is a certain element of, like, this card itself is the element of fire, right? And so there is a certain level of transmutation that that fire is going to create, and a level of confidence in your ability to create your life. And so what she's really saying is, coming into alignment with the understanding and the compassion of how you were wired, how you were created, the hidden patterns, the things that have prevented you from loving yourself fully, as well as extending. You see this hand extending to another. It's in this reading, I'm not getting that this is so much about a romantic relationship. I'm getting that this is about extending that love outwardly to the world. I see the world in this picture too, and I see the sun and the moon, and I see this hand extending to another one with a leaf in its hand, right? And that is this extension of this deeper knowing within ourselves, regardless of what we can see, regardless of what's still hidden. I see the moon in this one. What is still hidden? We're tapping into our deeper resources by having our patterns illuminated enough that we can see through the darkness of these patterns, through the darkness of the unknown, and tapping into, again, this energy of the sacred feminine, allowing us to access a deeper wisdom of our 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 unity as a whole, not just you know within ourselves, and not just with on this planet, but as a whole. And that means, like, if you need a broader perspective, maybe on yeah, I'm hearing somebody needs a broader perspective on what that looks like. So let's just say, whatever your belief system is, I'm just going to generalize it a bit, but let's just say that when you die here, your energy leaves your body, your soul, and it goes back to the source. Okay. If you believe in heaven, you can call it heaven. But I'm just going to generalize it in the way that I'm seeing it. So your energy leaves your body and it returns back to the source where all of your past loved ones and all those that you have loved in previous lives or had connection with in previous lives are all there, and they are all pure and they are all of love. And that's what divinity is. Um, there there are um, no barriers to that love. There's no hurt and pain and struggle and trauma and blocks and physical ailments and poverty and whatever we have on this planet. There, when we all return to the source, we are all unified as one. And this is kind of this idea that she's wanting to bring through, is that for whoever needed that message, um, if you can pull that down from the 5D and apply it to the the application of extending that hand of compassion to others, to the world around you, to your past, to even your unseen patterns and maybe the unknown, and to yourself in the process. This is the true divine qualities of the feminine, right? This is the ability to see past the 3D reality, see past the conditioning and the experiences that we've had on this planet, and understand that we are all part of the same source. We are all part of the same love and experience in one way or another. We're all connected. Even though we're living separately on this planet, we're still all connected. That's how I can generate these readings for the collective, is because I am tapping into the collective energy. I'm not reading for people who are doing wicked things or dark things or harming people intentionally or, manipulating and I'm not reading for them. I'm reading for the people who are on this path, who are part of this collective, who are walking in the image of their own creation, which is the image and the creation of Source, right? And so this unity is a part of the the unseen and the unknown that somebody here in the collective, or many of you, needed to know that you were a part of. You are not separate from in any way, shape, or form. And so it becomes even more important to understand how we show up and how we transmute energy with our own passion, with our own fire, with our own groundedness too, through the patterns, through the uncertainty, through the deception and the illusions that are cast by others, and the doubt possibly that we've bought into, and allow ourselves to reciprocate the love and the unity and the compassion and the understanding to others, but also I'm receiving to the world at large, to the planet. Because again, I felt the need to tell you guys at the beginning of this reading that Gaia is leaving the planet, right? And so it's up to us to take care of her now. That responsibility is being put on humans, on our species, to maintain and take care of and love the planet. And so this love needs to come from within, but it's important to take this time to re-regulate yourself and retrain the way that you feel about things, the way that you see the world, the way that you see yourself in the world, and understand that the way that you show up in the world is also a reflection of the deeper conditioning of humanity, the deeper um, consciousness that exists on this planet. And your ability to do that also illuminates to you and to the world around you um, a broader sense of what consciousness is. By you illuminating that light within yourself and coming closer to this goddess, God energy, to source frequency itself, that is going to carry not only yourself forward into this transformation, into this new timeline, into existing within the 5D, but also illuminating the responsibilities that each person has for themselves to do the same. And that you're not here to carry anybody else's weight or burdens. You're not here to carry, and that means like you're not here to carry the past burdens that perhaps your parents or your siblings or your teachers or your friends or people at work or your bosses or your relationships have ever put on you. So any beliefs, any ideas, any conditioning, any bias, any racism, any of those things, any outdated things that aren't going to serve humanity as a whole in the future need to come from within and be purged outside of yourself. But it comes with recognizing your immense power. And that comes from healing the heart. I mean, in this divine feminine, she's holding a lotus flower at her heart chakra. And it doesn't all have to happen at one time, right? It happens by peeling back one layer at a time. As the lotus flower opens, it opens one petal at a time. It's closed up on itself like this, and like this, and like this. And as it opens, it unfurls slowly, one petal at a time, right? And so it's about peeling back the layers in the time that you feel you have or in your own divine timing and taking your time to really illuminate these things within yourself and to shift them within yourself and understand that there's nothing to fear about your patterns or about the unknown, that it is part of the journey that should be enjoyed back to love itself, which is loving yourself. Because through loving yourself, you can love your experience, you can love the people who are in your life, you can love the world, you can love all the creatures on this planet, you can love, even the bad experiences, you can love your past. And that's really what you're coming back to is this experience of love, so that you can apply that broadly to the rest of your life. Okay. Thank you so much for that message, Siggy. Oh, is that one upside down? Probably. I'm not sure how I did that, but that's okay. We're just going to do it like this. Ooh, I also just heard that through this quiet time, when you finally break down these barriers to it being scary, um, the more frequently you do it, even if you just start at like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, even if that's easier to get in there, if you're consistent with doing it, the more in touch with your gifts and your abilities and your attunement and all of that is going to come into alignment too. But it's really important to make sure that your energy is aligned with that. Okay. Okay. Somebody needed to hear that. So Isolt or Isolt, one or the other. I love this card. It's actually probably my favorite because of all the beautiful rainbowy colors in there and the big heart necklace that she's wearing. It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Undying love. The love you have shared is eternal, regardless of the situation. Which cards or which deck would you like me to draw on for this? Okay. I'm hearing this and star seeds, so I'll go with that one after. All right. Tell us about this love, this eternal love. And to me, this really speaks about having love for the people who have been in your life, who played those roles in your life, even if it caused you harm and pain. Um, you attracted these people into your life to reflect back to you the parts of you that needed healing. So the karmic patterns and the belief system and all the things you're working on right now couldn't have been illuminated without having a mirror, right? If it was that simple, nobody would come here. If we could just look in a mirror and go, oh, there's all my karma. There's all my problems. This is what I came here to work out on. Okay, do you want both of these? Okay. Again, lots of cards like to come out at one time, so oh, I'm hearing the switch decks. Okay. All right, I will do that. I heard this deck and then end it with the star seed. So we shall. This is a massive deck, so I'm going to cut it in half. Just this first half. Too many cards. I just said that's too many cards, Spirit. Please just give me one. I'll stand up for this. Ah, thank you. Oh, is that the way? Yeah, okay. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm to take these ones first and read them to you. Okay, so we've got balance needed, relationships. Make sure all of your relationships are equal and balanced with giving and receiving. If they are out of rhythm, then The other is sacrificing and can't sustain itself. Therefore, it will create more obstacles to overcome. Know you are worthy and deserve respect in all ways. And then we've got the slow climb. You're getting there one steady step at a time with a little bit of effort. All right, and then we've got see what's real. Observe with clarity. True insight lies beyond the surface. All right, Isolde, what is your message here that you'd like to share? Okay. So this, what I'm getting is about really seeing the truth here. Because when we are talking about forgiveness and applying love to the situation, you know, the reason why, and I'm getting that this is some sort of relationship for somebody. This could have been romantic, or it could have been a close relationship. Maybe it was a long-term, long-time best friend who betrayed you. Maybe it was a partner who was I don't know, harmful to you or toxic to you or who hurt you. Maybe it was a family member. Whatever the type of relationship it was that caused you significant pain or that caused you to awaken, even to get on this path, whatever the relationship dynamic is, there is an aspect of you. Um, the reason why you feel the hurt is what I'm being told to tell you is because you loved them. And again, this can be platonic or romantic or within a family. The reason why you felt or feel so much hurt or even so much inability to forgive, why you're finding it so hard to forgive or want to take the quiet time to do these things is because of how much you loved that person or how much you trusted that person or people. Wow. Again, that can apply to many people or many situations or just one person. But you still have um, hurt and pain because there is an aspect of you that really loved that person. But wow. There's also a part of you that isn't seeing the full truth of the situation. And sometimes what we don't see is our own toxic patterns that created, not, I'm not going to say created the situation itself, no, because everybody has their part to play and we all need to take responsibility for how we showed up. So that doesn't take away from anything that happened to you or how the other person behaved or showed up themselves. But what we can do is take responsibility for the parts that, how we showed up, right? How we showed up in dynamics within relationships, whether that is whether we had a choice, or not. We still need to take responsibility now that we're conscious of those toxic traits, regardless of if they were established in childhood and we had no choice, or if they really came out in a relationship with somebody or a friendship with somebody. We have to take responsibility for all of the ways in which we showed up that contributed to that relationship going south or going sour. And so it does not happen, as I said before, you're not being asked to do it all at one time. You're being asked to really take incremental steps as you are capable to retrain your nervous system, your belief system, your body, your emotional body, all aspects of self to trust that that is right. And maybe it's about trusting yourself and trusting in yourself to know what is good for you and what's not and what's right for you, right? Maybe you lack the ability to trust yourself. And so this becomes difficult. And seeing the truth then becomes difficult too, because then our ability to clearly discern our own parts and separate that from other people's things becomes skewed. It becomes our vision or our memories or our um, ideas and perceptions of the world then become clouded and skewed by our own pain, by our own projections of that pain outwards onto others, right? And so this is about understanding where the pain is coming from. And it's coming from a place of knowing just how much you actually love the people or person in your life that ended up in a relationship that was not great or healthy or that really caused you pain. But also that, part of this is about taking responsibility for the things that we now have the power to change within ourselves, and that you have the power to change that by making these incremental steps. And yeah, it can seem like it's taking forever, but what she's asking you to do is not plow through it all, but to gain your own trust in yourself and your ability to do it by at least just sitting down in incremental steps with yourself and doing it. So maybe you're practicing forgiveness for like 5 minutes, or maybe you have to start at the 2 minute mark, but make it consistent, and then eventually work yourself up to maybe being able to do it for 15 minutes. And maybe then you can do it eventually twice a day when you wake up first thing in the morning before you get out of bed, and when you lay down 15 minutes before you sleep, right? So it's not about achieving the whole goal all at one time, is what I heard, or doing it quickly. It's about the effort that you're putting into it consistently, and about facing it and understanding that, sometimes the things that keep us holding on to the pain itself are the illusions that we cast based on our skewed vision of reality, which is then, construed from the pain that we have experienced in our own lives. And how can we see past that to the truth? By actually understanding your part in it and taking responsibility for everything that you can change, and working on this path of forgiveness in incremental steps, just taking the step itself daily is what's going to dissolve some of these blockages to the way that you perceive reality and the situation. Maybe there is a level of shadow work that needs to, or that you could benefit from um, at the same time, maybe getting to the root cause of um, where where perhaps you were showing up in a relationship that ended up being really imbalanced. But why is that? Because there's two parts, right? And so we can often reflect a lot on how the other person showed up. What were our patterns that led us to overgive or to live in a relationship or a dynamic that was so imbalanced to begin with? So a level of introspection or shadow work may be required for some of you at this time to help you see the truth more clearly and have a more accurate description of or interpretation of what actually happened. But it's about taking responsibility then for your actions and making the change, regardless of how slow it is, to let that go once you achieve a higher perspective on it. And you know what? Sometimes, actually, many times with healing, what I've found is that you will receive a higher perspective through doing that work. And then in 6 months' time, when this comes back up, maybe it's not fully this, but because healing is a process and it takes time, sometimes aspects of the same healing work that you were doing will surface again. And then you'll have to find a new perspective, a higher perspective on it, even from that. Because of all the healing work that you've done in that last 6 months, you'll have a higher perspective. You'll gain a higher perspective by doing some more work. And so on and so on. You'll experience that many times where your perspective on the whole situation will continue to change and evolve until you have the highest perspective, which means that you have integrated this, you have healed, you have forgiven, you have loved, you have applied all that you can to letting go of the pain that has gotten you to cracking open at this point, gotten you onto your path to begin with, right? Which is a blessing because you wouldn't be here on this path right now without this too. And that's maybe another perspective that you need to have gratitude for um, in shifting your perspective that everything in life that we've experienced, regardless of how painful and harmful and dangerous it could have been, is what got you here now and is what is allowing you to become whole once again, which is a lot more than a lot of people are willing to do for themselves. So, a level of gratitude for the experience begins to come in. You may not be there yet, but I know that um, for me, I noticed shifts in that happening. And every time that I got slammed down emotionally, um, and I climbed back up and I got back up and I got back into doing what I needed to do. I found that the level of gratitude I had for like that experience of getting knocked down started to grow. And I was grateful for that lesson. And I never thought, way back when that that would happen. And so maybe you're there. I don't know where everybody is on their path right now, but eventually you have gratitude for even the times you get kicked down by the world, by the universe, by your guides, by yourself. You have a level of gratitude for that. There it is. Lifting the veil. Yeah. Questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. hmm So, again, this is really about seeking the truth in these situations, seeking the truth of why these situations played out, seeking the truth of why, what was the deeper karma, what were the deeper lessons that you came here to learn through these experiences. And what parts did you play that actually helped to create the dynamics that you had between other people? How are you showing up? How are they showing up? I mean, you've probably already gone through how they've shown up. But now it's a matter of lifting that veil to see the truth. And that will allow you then to see um, the ways in which you may have been gaslighting yourself or lying to yourself or creating illusions in your own life, creating untruths based on your unwillingness or inability or the pain that you've been carrying to actually see the truth. And now, when you lift that veil, when you're willing to lift that veil, this is about your willingness to see yourself clearly and to accept yourself and the path behind you clearly. It allows you to then question everything that has happened and everything that continues to happen. And it gives you your power back to choose and decide for yourself. Is this something I want to continue doing? Is this serving my future self? Is it aligning me with the path that I want to be on? Is this creating joy in my life, or is it sucking my life dry? You know, anything that is out of alignment, once you start to see it, it's your job and your responsibility to take full ownership of that, to accept it, and to decide to change it if it's not something that makes you happy or brings you joy. It's your job to then remove it from your life or change your life or change your decisions or change the way you think or feel about things. It's it's you have to question it. You have to decide for you because nobody's going to come in here and do that for you. And this is a part of trusting yourself that was coming through, is that you have to question whether or not this is good for you, what you're doing, what you're choosing. And if it's not, then how can you go about removing that or changing that? And what in turn, because you can't forget that step, what in turn is going to fill that gap that'll make you happy, that will bring joy into your life? All right, awesome. Okay, so let's see here. I just heard sprinkle, sprinkle. Uh, if you know, you know. Anywho, is there anything else that you would like me to bring through for messages, or any other decks, goddesses, that you would like me to pull on for you to give a closing message? Okay, hearing a closing message from the moon deck. All right, what are your closing messages to the collective, please, goddesses? Yeah. Okay, so we've got healthy boundaries keep me centered and balanced. All right, so this is about protecting your energy, your creative life force energy, your ideas. It's about protecting yourself from people who don't align with your future. It's about protecting your body, your mind, protecting yourself from your own unhealthy behaviors and attachments, and maybe addictions or afflictions. So putting the line in the sand and saying, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this causes me chaos, this is what brings peace into my life, this creates instability, this does not, and trusting that you're making the decisions that are right for you. And it doesn't matter, pardon me, I'm gonna have some water. It doesn't matter what anybody else says or thinks about your choices. It's not their life to live, it's yours. And it's time for you to start making those choices for you. Oh, pardon me. All right. What other messages would you like to share with the collective, please? Closing messages for the collective, please. One. My inner compass knows the way. Yeah, this comes back down to that inner trust, right? Building resilience within yourself, building self-trust is a step-by-step process. Um, there is a woman, Heidi, I can't remember her last name, who talks about building self-trust and the types of things that would have made you like stop believing in yourself, or maybe the conditioning you received as a child that you never learned to trust yourself. You always relied on outside sources or outside people to give you your opinions or tell you how to dress or tell you how to behave or whatever it is that created a lack of self-trust. Maybe I will link that video in my description box below so that you can actually learn how to build self-trust and understand a little bit more about it if that is something that you're needing. But she talks about codependency and all kinds of different emotional things and how to heal that. And so she's a very good resource for that here on YouTube. So I think I'll link her there for you. But it's really a matter about learning to trust your own inner compass, learning to trust your own inner voice. And if you've got conflict between two different things in your mind telling you to, if you ask a question and you have conflict, you hear yes and no at the same time, or you hear two opposing statements, then that's going to create more lack of self trust, right? And so going inwards again is going to really help you to identify which of those voices is your inner critic or your ego, and which of those voices is your intuition, your inner compass, your guidance, right? Okay, Spirit. What other messages do you have in closing? Okay. With a steady mind, I am connected to our collective experience. Yeah. And again, this is about understanding how interconnected we all are. And so, through you healing, through you forgiving, through you loving or choosing to love yourself, choosing peace over chaos, choosing to put up boundaries around allowing those things, whether it's allowing yourself to go down that rabbit hole or allowing people who create these things, choosing stability over instability. Like when you heal these things within yourself, you're healing it as well within a collective. And so the work that you're doing is never in vain. It's never just for you. It's for your ancestors to release them from the bondage of these karmic patterns. It's also for you, of course, number one, but it's also healing the collective, and we're all interconnected. And so when you do something to uplift yourself, you're doing something to uplift us all, and vice versa. Proper rest helps me to feel and look my best. Yeah, for some of you, you are not getting enough rest. It could be sleep. Maybe you're having bad dreams. Maybe you're having sleepless nights. Um, Maybe you're choosing to stay up longer, self-sabotaging. Not getting enough rest, though, is really important. Maybe you're just not taking enough rest on the days where you're feeling out of alignment or dysregulated or more sensitive. And those are the days where you really need to avoid, what is the thing I just heard there? Extra stimulation. So, um, being overstimulated, right? Being in crowds, being in busy environments, being in loud environments with lots of lights. Those are the days where you want dimmer, quieter things going on. You want to take your time. You want to go slowly. You want to maybe put your feet up and rest a little more. Maybe you want to take a nap. Maybe you want to take a bath. But whatever it is that you need to do, some of you in the collective are needing more rest. And that's again a boundary, about setting a healthy boundary for yourself to ensure that you're getting enough rest for your body, right? That you're getting proper care, nutrition, rest, and putting that investment, looking at it as an investment rather than something that has to be done, but an investment in your in your freedom, I just heard. Because when you're getting enough rest and you're taking care of your body, then you are also more easily staying in alignment, especially if you have a nervous system or a family history of childhood of being dysregulated, of growing up in unstable environments, right? You're going to need this more than anybody, or grounding as well, more than anybody. And also, like for me personally, maybe it's not true for you, but for people who do grow up in these environments whose nervous system is much more sensitive, typically do really well with grounding energy into exercises, whether that is like um, strength training, or that is what is like cardio or something, because it allows us to ground the dysregulated emotions and channel that creatively into something else. It doesn't just have to be creatively, right? It can be physically within the body. And so people who generally have these experiences that create these patterns within us, that, rest is one of the biggest contributors to you staying in alignment. So make sure you're getting lots of that. I unleash my wildness and choose to be free. Oh, I love it. Yes. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Thank you, goddesses. Oh, goosebumps. Oh, yes. I love that because that's really the essence of this. Like, what are you choosing for yourself? Trust might be an issue. So, when you build your trust with yourself by not letting yourself down anymore, then you can trust that, whatever choices you make that are in alignment with freedom are the right choice for you, right? As long as they make you happy, then they're in alignment with you. If they're not going to leave you with regret, that's another thing. Make decisions that aren't going to leave you in regret from here on out. Okay, so I'm going to get us a few of these let's see, self-care activities. Goddesses, which self-care activities will best benefit the collective for this energy at this time? To unleash their wildness, to unleash love, compassion, empathy, pure joy, creativity, whatever it is that the collective could benefit from in tapping into their divine feminine. Okay, bake. That looks good. Yummy. So for some of you, baking something, maybe baking a special cake or a little treat for yourself. For some of you, writing. And we did talk about that, right? Journaling, maybe writing, doing some shadow work, or maybe even just writing out all of your best qualities, or maybe just looking back, writing a little bit about what you've gone through up until this point on this journey, and looking back and then giving yourself props, right? Lifting yourself up, validating all of the work that you've put into this path. Pay it forward. Oh, that's nice. So maybe giving somebody a compliment, or buying somebody a coffee who's in the lineup behind you, or um, maybe making a donation, even if you're decluttering your home, just donating some of the stuff instead of selling it and making profit from it, unless, that's something you can't do, but um, paying it forward, maybe saying something nice about somebody, or cracking a joke with a stranger, or holding the door open. Not everything has to cost money, right? All right. What other self-care activities will benefit the collective at this time with this energy? One more, please. What is this? There we go. Uh, I just heard you just have to be patient. Okay, so for some of you, it'll benefit you to catch up. Now, this could be, yes, literally catching up with a friend or a family member or somebody you've been meaning to reach out to or somebody you love to talk to, somebody who you really, really love. But it also could mean that you're needing to catch up with something in your personal life. Maybe you've put something off, right? Or put it on the back burner, or maybe you've put yourself on the back burner. I just heard. And if you've done that, then it's time to catch up on yourself, time to catch up on your inner work, or time to catch up on taking care of yourself, or taking care of your body, or resting some more, right? So when I say catch up, it's not just about with other people. This could be on an individual basis. Maybe there is some project that you've wanted to do at home that you've put on the back burner and you want to catch up. Um, Whatever it is, that'll benefit some of you. And that's funny. I talked about doing a puzzle, and that is what came through. Puzzle. So doing puddles. Doing puzzles is one of those ways that you can disconnect from your busy mind and all of the chaos in your mind, and maybe the thoughts that are taking you places maybe you don't want to go. Puzzles can be very meditative, and it's a very creative way of, oops, sorry, of getting out of that space where maybe you have difficulty getting out of it and doing something creative, right? You're channeling emotions, or you're channeling something into something creative instead. So we'll get one more, please. Okay. Stretch. Okay, so for some of you, you just need to, stretch your body, get connected to your body. Because again, we store a lot of stuff in our body, especially stress. And when we're avoiding going inwards, or we're scared to go inwards, or we're feeling dysregulated, or we're hypersensitive to energies around us or situations, we store it in our bodies often. We don't even realize like how much we're actually storing that in our body. And so it's important to stretch, to move that energy, and get the life force within all of our body moving and the energy flowing to those areas as well, right? So, however you'd like to do that, could be through yoga. Okay, so our card today is expansion. So, this is Burkite. It's the crystal that's in the middle. The lighting is really bad. Um, it it looks black, but it might be a little bit green, so I can't tell in this, but look this one up on Google and see what the qualities are and how that can help you at this time. And pardon me, you don't have to go and buy all these crystals. I pull them to show you what the attributes of that crystal would be, that can help you or help explain or identify other things in your life that maybe you have questions to, or maybe maybe there's parts of what it can help you with that you can meditate on to bring those qualities into your life, right? Okay, and then I think I will get a couple affirmations, and then we're done this session for today. I suppose for the next 2 days. Thank you. Get a couple more, please, Spirit. What are the most healing affirmations of love and forgiveness that we can bring forth today for the collective and compassion? Top one? Oh, bottom. Mhm. One more, please. There it is. Thank you. Okay. Huh. I surrender to a power greater than me. I surrender to a power greater than me. I am a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. Yeah, that's what I asked for. This was the first card before I asked that question about which affirmations would, serve us best in love. So that's awesome. Spirit always delivers. Never ceases to amaze me. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. Can you see it? Hold on a second. I'm not sure how well that's actually showing up. Hopefully you can read that. The lighting again. Oh, maybe I should have brought it a little bit closer. Turn it a bit. Now, I show you these cards because if you want to use these affirmations, instead of just saying it out loud, you can pause the video and write them down for yourself. I like to keep them out after these readings and I like to use them for myself. So, yeah, feel free to do what you like. Anyways, um, hope you enjoyed the video. I just want to give special thanks to all the goddesses who showed up today for all of us in the collective who helped us to access this love, this and identify, the deeper source of this love that is within us. I also want to thank each and every one of you for showing up today, for being here, for inputting your energy into the collective, into these readings. I love and appreciate each one of you. And if you did enjoy this video, if you got something from it, give it a thumbs up. That does help my algorithm out, which helps me to get the message out to more people. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. That's really up to you. You can join in into this community of light by subscribing, and we would be very happy to have you here if this did resonate with you. Or if you're interested in seeing more of what is to come on this channel. All right, I love you. Have a fantastic day. This will be out in a two-part, so look for the other part the next day as usual. And I will be recording again on Saturday. Love you. Bye.